Hey, Remprex. Nice to see you this evening. So I am on the other side of the country tonight, and it's very nice to be with you and spend time with you tonight. I am on the East Coast. So usually when I am doing these videos for you guys, it's kind of like dinner time for me. And for the next couple weeks, it is going to be, particularly with this class, is going to be very late at night. So it's kind of dark, but I'm very happy to be with you nonetheless. Thank you for joining me live or watching on the replay. Today, as we always do on Tuesdays, we are going to be doing some yoga. We're going to be doing some stretching. And this is for all levels. It is just going to be a simple stretch that anyone can do anywhere. All you need is a bit of space, a yoga mat, or at least something soft. And we're just going to be making some simple movements, getting into some stretchy like shapes, spending a bit of time there, and just really relaxing and winding down. Something that I always comment on is this is a really good routine to get into. So if this is your first time joining us on a Tuesday for yoga, try to make this part of your routine. It doesn't necessarily need to be that you watch this video on repeat every day for a week, but just spending a bit of time with yourself in the evening at around, anytime after dinner, between dinner time and before bed to just wind down, to take it easy, take it slow, and to get into the habit of doing some sort of stretching every night is a really good idea. You could pair it with a bit of breathing practices if you know any, or if you have questions about any, please let me know. It could also be paired with meditation. And again, if you know some, go for that. But if you have any questions about that, let me know. We did do quite a few classes in the past around these two topics, but if you're just kind of kicking it in at this point, brand new, and you don't know any offhand, or you're not familiar with anything, just ask me a question either through email or Pointogram. Both are fair game and available to you. But yeah, this time is just really about taking it slow. We're not trying to get ourselves into wild positions or break a sweat. It's not really the best time for that. It's as I said, calm, relaxed, breaking it down, winding down, taking it easy kind of class. So thank you for being here and sharing this with me. A few things that you need to know. Have water whenever you like. I usually don't have water in the yoga classes. If you feel like you need water, go for it at your own leisure. Like I said, we don't get sweaty, we don't get hot. Sometimes it's a bit uncomfortable if you do some stretching on a full stomach or if your belly is full of water. So just be mindful of that as you take your sips through class. But always in the workout classes, I give you an opportunity or some time to have water because it's more important than it is during the yoga. But again, you're in charge. That's actually the overarching concept I want you to think about throughout this whole class is that you're in charge. I can't see you, uh, and I also don't know, how your day has been, what food you ate, what mood you're in, what your sleep was last night. All of these different things, all these components make up who you are right now. And so you're in charge of your movements. If you want to take it up a notch, you can. If you want to take it down a notch or 10, you can. You make that judgment call. And if you have any questions about modifications on postures, you can just, again, send me an email or ask me a question on Pointogram. Pointogram is really great because everyone sees your question and everyone benefits therefore. It also helps build a community-like feel, which is always great. And that's one of the goals that Sarah and I have is to really get some community, especially around wellness, especially when during this time when we haven't spent a lot of time around other people or we feel maybe a little bit isolated because of the pandemic. It's nice to spend time in Pointogram. So always know that that's there. I know it's summertime and things are crazy and wild and busy, but always try to come back into Pointogram, come back into routine, come back into some stretching on a daily basis after dinner, before bed, and it's really good for you. I think that's all that I want to share. You can be barefoot. That's how I prefer to do stretching and yoga. It's kind of uncomfortable if you have shoes on, but again, you're in charge and you follow your own rules. I am your guide, not your, be all end all kind of gal. Okay. smooth, taking it down, taking it into just a relaxed kind of place. So let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to start actually standing. Well, we always start standing. We're going to stand briefly, then just take it down onto the ground and just do a really nice wind down. So I think I have my camera set in a good enough place here to get all that in. However, like I said, I'm just trying this whole scene out, room out for the first time. So, oh yeah, we're good to go. So hopefully you guys can see me, hear me. Let me just straighten out my yoga mat here. And let's just, because we're doing yoga, got a mask in my pocket, put that away. What we're gonna do is just spend a moment just coming into space. So whether you've had a stressful day or a busy kind of filled evening, or your weekend was a bit wild, let's just take all that noise and all that kind of intensity out of our minds and relax into our body. So feet are underneath your hips, arms relaxed just down by your sides, and you're just going to close your eyes. Closing your eyes. And first, before you do the typical, which is pay attention to your breathing, I want you to first feel your feet. Bringing your attention, or like just paying attention to your feet at any point, is a really kind of grounded place to put your awareness. Feet feeling the solid ground is very comforting, very relaxing, very like focusing and centering. So feel your feet, both feet, right foot, left foot, and then most importantly, the contact that they have with the ground. So if you could imagine yourself like stepping into paint and then stepping back onto a white blank canvas, just feel into the foot shape, or the bit of art that you would make just standing here. Now from there, I want you to start feeling and breathing. You're feeling your breathing very low. It's very anxious inducing, very stressful, kind of chaotic like breathing when we breathe really high in our chest. So I want you to, basically just start breathing from the opposite. Breathing really low in your abdomen, not just pushing your belly out in front, but also out to the sides and into the back. The back is obviously so full of a lot of dense thick muscle that keep us upright and standing as erect human beings. So I want you to really feel into how those areas, side body, back body, can move with your breath. Okay, so let's just take 5 breaths here, letting your arms be totally loose and jiggly. Every single breath that you take, we'll take 5 of them here. Feel like you're relaxing more and more tension out of your body. Okay, so 5 breaths, really smooth and deep. Breathe low. Feeling really slow. You don't need to rush. And then, like I said, every exhale, feel like tension somewhere, maybe in your neck and shoulders, starts to dissipate and relax. Just putting your mind and attention there, letting it soften. Keep going. Relax the tension wherever you feel it. Maybe you feel it in your chest, around your shoulder blades. Lots of people have knots between their shoulder blades. One of the key things that I like you to do always is your breath. Your belly. Relax your belly with your breath. Soften your belly. Don't hold your belly in. Don't guard it. Don't suck it in. Let it go. The next area that people like to squeeze is their bum. They like to squeeze their glutes, force themselves into a really rigid, kind of straight posture. Let all that go. I'm going to take one more breath. Make sure it's all relaxed. Feels so good. All right, so to do a little bit of a warm up, just so that we can stretch really nicely and get into some good deep tissue movement, let's just make some big circles and shapes with the big joints of our body, our shoulders and our hips. That helps to just bring good circulation in. So first, because we were just at our feet, let's trace out some big circles with our hips and pelvis. So I want you to lean your right hip, or the right side of your body, to the right. And then you're going to lean your pelvis forward, starting to trace a circle, and then lean your hip and pelvis to the left. Trace the circle all the way back to where you came. 3 circles in one direction, 3 circles in the other. The whole point of this is so that you can excuse me, paint the borders or the edges of your feet, meaning you feel extra grounded because you can feel the whole nooks and crannies of all of your feet, including all 10 toes. Okay, make sure you're going in both directions. Arms are like loose, loosey goosey, jello. No need to hold tension in them. Just let all that kind of go, whatever shape you're in. Let it move. Once you've done 3 in both directions, that's how starting to get our hips as well as our spine. Let's start to bring it up and then go into our arms. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a big, let's like pretend you're doing backstroke. So one arm back, big circle, and then the other arm back, big circle. Don't want to hit anything. New house, don't break stuff. Okay, I'll do 3 circles of back crawl on each side. And then let's do 3 circles of front crawl, one arm at a time. Big shapes, really good, like I said, for your spine, shoulder blades, obviously your shoulder joint. Good. And then let's just take that all the way up and just get our neck moving. Make some half circles or full circles, whatever feels most comfortable on your neck. Okay, so you're the boss. Drop your right ear towards your right shoulder, aka side bend your head, and then drop your chin, like roll your chin towards your chest, and have your other ear meet your same side shoulder, left ear, left shoulder. At this point, you can go back the way you came, or if a full circle feels good on your neck, do that. Okay, so just make a few. Depends on what shape you're making, so we won't count here. Pops and snaps and little like Rice Krispie like noises, those are okay, as long as they don't hurt. All right, finish up whatever you are doing with your neck. And then we'll start to stretch the back body just standing. So we got some good movements in some of the bigger joints. Let's make sure the whole back of our body is really becoming soft and gooey. Whether we get here right now or not, doesn't matter. But let's just start it off. So take your feet, let me just face you for a second. Take your feet a little bit wider if you already know you're pretty tight in your back of your body, like your hamstrings or your calves. If you know that they're all right or you feel like it can loosen kind of quickly, just start how you had normally started with your feet underneath your hips. Let out some tension in your body by putting a little bend into your knees. You're going to need to bend your knees more or less, depending on how flexible you are. But once you get your knee bend, I want you to think about straight spine, like keep your head stacked on top of your rib cage, which is stacked on top of your pelvis, and just tip over with a straight back as if you're almost doing a deadlift. But once you get to that spot where you're like, "Ooh, it's tight," move your knees or bend your knees as much as you need to get your hands, not just your fingers, but your whole palm on both palms on the ground. Most important thing to do here is 2 hands on the ground and don't keep tension in your neck. So I'm kind of have my head out so I can talk to you, but relax your head down. Like relax your head totally down to the ground. So like the very top of your head is headed straight down to your mat or to the ground. And then I want you to, one at a time, bend one knee, straighten the other. So you're like pedaling your knees, alternating, moving from side to side. Okay, this will help. It's just a little bit of a dynamic stretch, but also helps to just kind of ease your way into a forward fold. If forward folds like just don't feel good at the moment, you will reach a sweet spot, I promise, where forward folds feel really nice. Whether they feel nice or not right now, just the inversion, getting your head in this direction in relation to your heart, is a very, very good practice, especially if you're feeling strain, overwhelm, tension, headaches, all of this kind of circulation problems. It's really good to spend some time inverted. This is a really simple, easy, light inversion that has a lot of impact. All right. Relax back into your forward fold. We'll just stay here for 3 breaths and intentionally breathe into the back of your body. Okay, so breathe into your low back. This is a really good position to breathe into your low back. Like we said, it's super dense with tissue. Doesn't really move that well because it's such a tight area. So let it kind of open up with your breathing. Smooth breaths into the low back. As low as you can get your breath, really expanding in the low back. Every single inhale, feel it opening, lengthening, getting some space, and then exhaling. Just this kind of relax, comfort, ease kind of comes in. One more breath. And then exhale. Now you've been inverted for a while. So from this point, you're going to bend your knees as much as you need to just feel like you're grounded. You got weight in both feet equally. Make sure you have weight in your heels. Lean your weight back into your heels and slowly roll up. And then again, remember you've been inverted for a while. So take a moment to just be sure that when you come upright and your head is stacked back on top of your body, that you can feel good. You don't feel dizzy, you don't feel nauseous, you don't feel lightheaded. And if you do, just stay in place until that kind of settles, which it definitely will. And then from there, we're going to come and lay down on the ground. And actually, I think I'm going to just move the camera angle just slightly. So I think we can do this a little bit better here. Sorry guys. I know it's never fun to be on the receiving end of wiggling. All right, there we go. Okay, sorry, we're done. Okay, so let's come and be on the ground here. So once you get up, if you want to have water right now, that's a good water time. Good natural water pause, and you're going to come and lay flat down on your back. Whenever you're ready. All the way down, flat down. Nice thing about yoga is you get to take breaks in between. So arms relaxed away from the body, legs, feet apart. And it's not just about relaxing and breathing. I actually want you to just kind of reap the benefit of paying attention to your body. Okay, so trying to keep the mind calm. Feel into like areas where you just stretch. Like keep your focus and attention on your body. That's where you get all the benefit instead of having your mind zip to whatever you have it zipping towards at this time of day. Breathing keeps you anchored in present moment. Feeling stretched spots or any other kind of sensation keeps you anchored in the moment as best you can. Just stay here. Start to train that. It's a brain power, mind power exercise. All right, let's get back into some stretching. You're going to pull your right knee to your chest, interlock your fingers, and just yank nicely. Your right knee as close or as comfortably as it can towards your chest, like on the straight. So it's kind of going towards your armpit crease. It's really good to close the front of that hip joint off completely. And we're going to make these little rainbow-like arcs. So you're going to let go of that pull a little bit, and you're going to drag your same side knee, your right knee, towards your opposite shoulder. So right knee towards left shoulder. As far as it can go, you'll notice that like as you pull it over in that direction, you're kind of losing the tightness at the hip, and that's good. That's what you want. If you keep squeezing, you'll feel a pinch in your hip because everyone will feel a pinch in their hip. Once you're there, you're going to go the arc in the other direction. So pull it back to where you came. Make sure you give a good squeeze into the body as you go, and then make it go in the other direction. So the same side knee, the right knee, is now towards the right elbow or towards the ground. Do a couple of arcs, nice and slow. Make sure you're breathing nice and smooth. If you just do one more or finish off the one you're doing. depending on your speed. And then you'll come back to center, which is where we started. Knee pulled in towards the chest. And then you're going to straighten that leg. You're actually going to straighten this right leg as best you can. And you're going to either interlock your fingers behind your hamstring, which would be the easiest, or behind your calf, which is requiring more flexibility. If you do it behind your knee, it's going to kind of force the knee to bend. If you feel like, Kendra, that's just crazy talk, bend your knee as much as you need to and just pull it in anyways. You'll still get a stretch in the hamstring. It'll just be like up by your bum. Whereas if you keep your knee straight, you'll feel a stretch in the hamstring, like probably somewhere at the bottom, like by your knee or your calf or even into your foot. Okay, so flex that foot. No pointing because you won't get much of a stretch that way. Flex the foot. And then we're going to just pulse in and out of here. So bend the knee, pull the knee to the chest, straighten the leg completely or as best you can. And we'll do that 4 more times to make it 5 total. Bend the knee towards the chest, really squeeze as best you can. Straighten it, straighten it, straighten it as best you can. 5 total. Keep going for it. I got 2 more here. Kind of sync your breathing up to it. It feels nice, smooth, relaxing. Good. And when you've done that side, you can just get that foot back onto the ground, lay it flat. And we'll do all of that on the second side. So to start, pull your left knee in towards your chest. Pull it in, like really give it a good yank for a moment. Like I said, it's really good on your lymphatic system, also known as your immune system, as well as your circulatory system, as well as the joint itself, to just really compress and squeeze the front of the hip. Now let's go into our little rainbow arc section. So left knee is going to trace a line towards the opposite shoulder. As you pull it over in that direction, the knee is going to come out of that tight compression or the hip tight compression. That's fine and normal. And then arc yourself in the opposite direction. Pass by where you came. Squeeze as you go. Left knee towards left elbow. And just do a few of those. Make them good ones. You go really slow if you want. Ideally, slower the better. You kind of want to, you don't want to go fast. Kind of missing the point if you go really fast. You're like specifically curious about tight spots, spending a little bit of time in an area that feels tight or needs some attention. I just do one more here. Even just curiously thinking like this side feels different than the other would be a nice thought to have. All right, so let's come back to where we came. Knee in line, pull it in as best you can, close as you can. And then we're going to start to flex and straighten the, extend the leg. And again, grab back of the hamstrings, which would be easier, or the calf if you have better flexibility, or you can just keep your knee bent and just pull it in as best you can. Like I said, you're still getting stretch in the hamstring. It just is either at the bum attachment or at the knee attachment, depending on what you're doing with your knee. Now we're going to pulse in and out of this. Make sure you have a flex foot. Okay, so you're getting a nice big stretch somewhere in the back of that leg 5 times. You're going to bend the knee, pull it in, squeeze the front of that joint, hip joint, and extend the knee, straighten it. 4 more for me. And when I say time it to your breathing, I mean, we'll do one of the movements for the inhale, inhaling on the bending maybe, exhaling on the straighten. I don't want to get too confused about when you should be inhaling or exhaling. I don't want you to get all wrapped up in that. It's not really the biggest deal in this situation, but just really smooth your breath out as best you can. Time it to your actual movement that you're doing. Good. Once you've done your 5, you can let that leg down completely. Let it just come down nice and slow. Let it hit the ground. Straighten the legs. You can relax your arms by your side for a second. And again, just pay attention, Compression, when you let go of that compression, especially in the hips, you may feel like a warm sensation, tingly, light. Any of those kind of sensations are fair game, and I'm sure a lot of other words are too. Feel into that in yourself. It's important, and then you also get to stay present, which is really good. It's training your mind. It's important. Okay, let me just check to see what time. I actually can't see you guys at all. It's like staring up at a headlight, at a pot light. I still can't see because I'm staring at a pot light. Okay, 4 minutes. Let's do a little slow, smooth exercise, and then we'll complete with a little cool down where we just stay in a nice twist. So we got into some nice movement, compressing the front of the hips. Let's open them up a little bit and get some space in there by doing a bridge. So bridge is a nice bit of stretching and also a bit of active engagement. So feet are going to come in line with your sit bones. I want you to imagine that your foot, your knee, and your hip are like on a straight track. So that's happening on the right leg as well as the left. And I want you to, so if you look at my feet right now, my feet are really far away from my bum. That's going to make it really hard to get up. It's also going to make it really calfy and really hamstring-y, but like kind of around the knee, which is not what we want in a glute bridge. A glute bridge is called a glute bridge because you want it to be felt in your glutes, in your bum. So most of it should be felt in the kind of top part of your hamstrings, your bum, and your low back. The next thing I want you to do is you're going to tuck your pelvis under. All that means is the space that you naturally have at your low back, whether it's big or small, doesn't matter. Flatten it out, squish it out. I imagine like there's a little bug underneath my low back and I just flatten it. Sorry, little bug, but just for that visual, squish it down. Keep that glute bridge, or sorry, that posterior tilt is what we call it, and start to peel your body off the ground so you're in a nice straight line. Doesn't matter if there's stuff in the way to not make it a straight line, like tummies or thighs or any other kind of parts of our body. I want you to really imagine like the bone or your shoulder bone, like the joint, is in line with your knee, like you're a plank of wood, like a ramp is what I want you to visualize, just from the like a bony perspective. That's super important and really good as a thought to maintain. It puts all the right muscle function in, and you may even feel a stretch in your quads if you have quite taut quads, and it helps to open up all that area that we just compressed. Hold it for 2 more breaths. Let it burn a little bit. That's okay. And then really slow, start to put your back on the ground. Nice and easy. And you'll know that you did a really good job with maintaining your pelvis when you come back and you let yourself go and relax, and your pelvis like returns or rocks forward into neutral. Okay, let's do that one more time. Okay, so all the goodness was, and the legs are already set up. We didn't go anywhere. Tuck your pelvis under. That should feel like you moved your pressure from like your bum, your sacrum, to your low back. Your weight is now somewhere in your low back. Drive up through your heels. Important point to keep, again, activity and engagement in the back of the body. If you push through your toes, you're going to feel a lot of front body, like you'll feel a lot of quads. Take it easy on the quads. They should be like maybe stretching, but definitely not activating. You want to feel activity in your bum, hamstrings, low back. If you feel like pinching or compression or not nice stuff in your low back, it's because you lost your actual tilt of your pelvis. You lost it somewhere along the way, and it's going to look somewhere like this, like your bum is like falling like it weighs 1,000 pounds. You need to tuck your bum back under, squeeze and press it up, and feel that plank of wood sensation coming back in. That keeps you really soft and maintained. Holding like this hurts pretty much everyone's back. It feels pretty uncomfortable for me. Okay, so let's hold it here for 3 more breaths. Make them good ones, nice and smooth. Should see your belly rising. Just your belly right there in front of you. Make sure you see it moving. And at the top of your third inhale, use the last exhale to roll yourself back down. Nice and easy. Feel your pelvis return to neutral. And then we're gonna do a really common kind of pair. A lot of the time after you do a glute bridge in yoga, or at least like studio yoga, you would do some windshield wiping. So if you're on a mat, it is really easy to feel. You're just gonna take your feet to the outside, the long edges of your mat. If you don't have a mat, just take your feet as wide as it's comfortable. Drop your knees to the right. Both knees are going to the right. This helps to just soften any kind of like strain or tension in the low back. Make sure you have legs totally floppy and relaxed. Pick them back up. Go to the left. Same thing obviously applies. Relax the legs completely. Let them go limp, noodly, relaxed. Now from there, because you got the feeling down on both sides, then you can move at a pace that feels good to you. Maybe you want to slightly speed it up, or maybe you want to slow it down more. Act like a windshield wiper in whatever kind of storm you feel is necessary. Maybe just not a full-on thunderstorm. We don't need to go that fast. All right, now what you're gonna do is you're actually gonna lean your legs, both legs to the right, the direction that we started. Now, from the video, it's gonna be hard to see what I'm doing. And I need to, I need to stop looking at the spotlight because I can't see my screen at all. But what I want you to do is I want you to actually listen to what I'm saying, because the directions are really simple. It's just that we make it super complicated because we can't really see, which I apologize for, but 'tis the world of video. What I want you to do is I want you to put your right foot on your left knee, on the outside of your left knee, and that's going to drag you into a deeper stretch on the left side. It's going to feel like left kind of hip, maybe left low back, left kind of side. So I put my right knee on my left, I put my right foot on my left knee, right foot, left knee. Okay, and you're just going to stay there for a moment. Let's take 3 breaths here. Legs are heavy. So one hip right now is doing a pretty deep internal rotation, and the other hip is doing a really nice external rotation. They're doing the opposite. One's going inward, closing in a really important way that we don't really get to do very often, and the other one's getting a little bit more of an open. All right, slowly make your way out of that. So come back to starting position. We'll do that on the other side. So just to make sure we're all starting from the same point, in case our legs got all tangly, make sure your feet are again on the outside borders of your mat. Flop 2 knees this time to the left, 2 knees to the left, left foot on top of your right knee. Left foot, right knee, left foot, right knee, left foot, right knee. Let it all hang out heavy. Let the heaviness of your left leg drag your right knee down, giving you some nice kind of good stretching into the right hip, right kind of inside of your hip bone, right low back, obliques, really nice feeling in there. And again, it's all, the right hip is going into an internal rotation. Left hip is going into an external rotation. One of the ranges of motion that we lose when right before we need to get a hip replacement, or we probably lost hip rotation for a long period of time when we get a hip replacement, but what we need to maintain and make sure we have maintenance of is our internal rotation. That's super key. And if we lose it, it's not so great. A hip replacement may be in our future, decades down the line. So right now your right hip is an internal rotation. We just did the other side, the left. All right, slowly make your way out of that. And then we will call it a day for stretching on a Tuesday evening. This is probably the latest I've ever done a live in my entire life. So thank you for that. I am here in Connecticut. So I'm going to slowly get up. But if you would like to continue on, please do. Man, I'm so sorry. I can't see you guys at all. I got like just spotlight eyes. So thank you for being here with me tonight. It was really great. Like I said, thank you. It's always nice to not do this alone and have people here doing it with me. And tomorrow, as we do every Wednesday, we're having a workout. The workout this week, I believe, is a circuit. So if you guys want, we are doing that at 7:30 Eastern, so 6:30 Central Time, as we always do. Sorry, I'm in a whole different place and I don't know any of I don't know any of the times. All right. Have a good sleep and I'll see you tomorrow.